Hello, I am your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. Liking and subscribing. As soon as you have a chance, please take your little cell phone over to YouTube and please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. But right about now, there's all types, excuse me, of tasty and delicious politics for us to sink our teeth into. So I'm gonna get right into it like a car and drive. Once again, this is Urban Politics, where politics lives. Check me out. Let's talk about number one, the GOP scared of history. As we all know, you know what I'm saying? They're all afraid or made a boogeyman out of this critical race theory thing. So let's see how this is going for them. Look, 12 GOP Republicans voted against legislation that was designed to promote public information about Japanese internment camps. Now, if you don't know, what happened was back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Pearl Harbor was bombed. Boom. There were plenty of Japanese Americans who had been living here for years, 20, 30 plus years, and were calling America home. Pearl Harbor got bombed by, you know what I'm saying, the Chinese, or by the Chinese government, and these internment camps were created. So what happened was a lot of Chinese Americans who had been calling America home for 20 plus years, 30 plus years, ended up getting put in these internment camps. They took all their stuff, took all their assets, and threw them in jail, basically, but they called them internment camps. They said during World War II, there were 400, well, the vote was, that's when these internment camps happened, during World War II. There was a vote, right, that took place. It was 406 to 16, the vote. So this legislation did pass because it's a good thing. This is a part of American history. It's a black spot on American history, but people still need to know about it. If you don't need to know about it, you need to know about it. It needs to be studied. It needs to be researched. It needs to be talked about in classes, right? So out of, you know what I'm saying, there were 406 who were for it, 16 who voted against it. And you got to think, these Republican senators, these 16 who voted against it, they already knew it was going to pass. They just wanted to go on record as saying that they didn't want this to be taught in schools. They did not want this legislation to pass because it creates a Japanese World War II museum. So they don't agree with that. So they, in their minds, there should not be a museum, to commemorate and to honor this moment that was a bad moment and makes white Americans look bad. Basically, that's what that is. That's what these GOP senators are saying right here. Because you already know the legislation's going to pass, but you just want to vote in opposition of it just so people can check the record and see that you were in opposition to it. So you know what that's about. All that's about is them wanting to go on record as being against people knowing the real plight of Japanese Americans. And why? Why? Because you want to hide history because it doesn't make you look so good, right? Whatever. Listen, there were 120,000 Japanese who had to live in internment camps. So after Pearl Harbor was bombed and all that stuff starts going on, 120,000 Japanese Americans who called America home, who had been here for, like I said, 10, 20, 30 years, got thrown in internment camps and treated like, war criminals for something they had nothing to do with. Now, we know right now from what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, a lot of the Russian people, they don't agree with Vladimir Putin, right? A lot of the Russian soldiers don't want to be at that war. They don't want to be doing what they're doing, right? But it's just their job. Same thing here. There were plenty of Japanese Americans who were here in America. They didn't want, excuse me, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm right. Japanese Americans who were here in America, they did not want the Japanese government coming to America with that, bombing Pearl Harbor, but they did it. And then these people have to bear the brunt of the response from America, which is to be racist towards them and throw them in an internment camp. Yes, so this is not a good look for America. So I guess you can understand why they want to hide it, but still cut the games. We can't be hiding this history. We need to learn from it and then move on. Learn from it, make sure it doesn't happen again, then move on. Because if we don't study our history, we're what? Doomed to repeat it. So that's what's up. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about some other sad stuff going on here in America, the Don't Say Gay bill. Are you serious? What? When I heard this, I was blown away. The Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. Kids walk out of classes to protest the bill. That right there lets you know that the youth, they say, and a child shall leave them. The youth are always up on it, right? Because if you go talk to like some middle schoolers or anything like that, they'll tell you that they don't care about a person's sexuality. They'll tell you that sexuality is a spectrum. So it change within the span of a person's life or whatnot. The youth have a whole lot of different views on this sexuality thing and sexual genders things and stuff than us old people do, right? So we really need to take their lead. And that's what it is. A lot of these kids, they walked out because they said, this isn't cool. We have friends who are transgender. We have friends who are gay. And now we're going to act like they don't exist. We're going to act like they aren't real people. We're going to act like their lives don't deserve some concern and some care and some conversation. So that was good right there. The bill says that teachers can't even talk about gay people or gay issues in class. They can't talk about sexual orientation or gender identity. That's ridiculous. We have to talk about these things. Why? Because these people exist in society. I work with them. You work with them. They're on TV. They're in commercials. They're all over the place. You know why? Because they're human beings and they deserve the respect of a human being. Ergo, we have to discuss them in our classes, right? Of course, the LGBTQIA plus community, not happy. I get it. Why would they be? Because once again, here's another attempt at the right to marginalize them and make it seem like they're not people who are worthy of respect or concern or conversation. So I hear that. That's ridiculous. This whole thing, not helping prevent gay youth suicide. If you know anything, you know that gay youth suicide rates are extremely tremendous. They blown out of proportion, larger than they should be because gay youth are still ostracized sometimes, ostracized at schools, ostracized in their homes. That's a sad thing. I'm going on record as saying, look, I've always been a person who worked with kids, and I hate to hear that kids are out here committing suicide because they're gay. That's ridiculous. We need to be loving these kids. We need to be accepting these kids. We need to be trying to understand what's going on with these kids. Instead they're being ostracized, pushed away or whatever. And to think that a young kid is committing suicide because they were gay, that's a horrible story. I've had to unfortunately report on that a couple of times on this show. That needs to stop. So, you know what I'm saying? That's not helping that at all right there. Says to these kids that their existence is not even to be discussed. I agree. That's what it is too. That's what that legislation is saying. You're transgender. You don't matter. We're gonna act like you're not a thing. Saying you're not a person. So you're not anything we're gonna talk about. You're part of this LGBTQIA community. We're not even going to talk. We're going to act like you're not even a person. You're not even an entity to be discussed. Something to talk about. You don't matter. You're not a real thing. And that's not fair because we know that's not true. I've seen different documentaries and stuff too about trans youth, and they wanted people to know that their lives are not all gloom and doom. Some of them have very happy and fulfilled lives. Some of them are happy and okay with their situation and at one with it, have understanding of themselves, and they have family members and friends who support them. In their journey through this, transsexual experience. We need to know stuff like that. Stuff like that needs to have a spotlight shined on it so all of us can understand this human experience, this very human experience that these people are having, right? Anyway, moving on, let's talk about a question that I've heard talked about ad nauseum. If you're watching Fox News, if you're watching some of these other conservative outlets or just news in general, you'll hear this question posed. Why didn't Putin invade while Trump was in office? I'm about to rub my beard. Why didn't Putin invade while Trump was in office? That's very easy. First of all, stick to the plan. Why jeopardize your information stream? Why would he do that? First of all, when you call yourself setting up a plan or a grift or a con, any of that, you want to stick to the plan. And plan number one, get your information. Do your homework, right? Whenever you're doing a crime, you want to get your homework, right? You want to do what they call sitting on that place, sitting on that establishment. So you might get there for 2-3 weeks. You just sat outside the car and you wanted to see how people came, how people went, when the lights came on, when they went off, at what time lunch was delivered. All of that silly little stuff. That's called doing your homework. That's what Putin was doing with Trump while he was in office. He was doing his homework. He was laying the foundation for what he's doing now. But you got to stick to the grip, stick to the plan. You don't mess it up in midstream. Why would he have invaded Ukraine while Trump was president? That's stupid. That's stupid. I'm using this guy right now. For whatever reason, the American people are going along with his grift. Ergo, I have to keep my grift going because I'm going to get all this information off of this guy. And then when he's out of office and he's no longer the useful idiot that he was from jump, then I can use all that information that I've gained, right, to do what he's doing right now. That's how you do it. You see what I'm saying? Putin is a thug. He's a criminal, but he's methodical. He's smart. He's not a stupid man. So he knows, keep using this guy as long as I can. Keep using him. And then when I don't need him anymore and I can't use him anymore, get rid of him. Next phase of the plan is to invade Ukraine. And that's what he's doing right now. Oh my goodness. It's crazy because, you know what I'm saying? They said, think about it. All these off-record conversations that Trump had with Putin. Don't you remember when Putin came and had that conversation? They were talking or whatever, but then there was all these articles written and people tripping or whatever saying there was times when he was talking to Putin off the record. When they kicked the person who's supposed to be taking notes for those conversations out of the room. What do you think that was about? That was Trump giving Putin the keys to the kingdom, letting them know what our, what our stockpile look like, letting them know what our troop numbers look like, letting them know what our nuclear arsenal looked like and how much we do and don't have. And that's the reason why Trump is doing what he's doing right now, doing it with confidence, because he probably knows a lot more about our military than even some of the German generals. Because you got to think, at one time, Trump was the president. And that's when he was giving them all this valuable, tasty, delicious information that Putin is acting with now. Laugh to keep from crying, ladies and gentlemen. I live here too. Trump even said this on Fox News. He said, there's a good reason Putin didn't invade while I was president. And he said, and I'll share that at a later point. I'll share that later. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but you can go Google this. You can go look this up. He said that on Fox News. He said that. Trump gonna say that. Yeah, there's a good reason he didn't invade while I was president, and hopefully I can tell you that later. I'll discuss that with you later. Discuss that with you later? No, I just discussed it with you a few seconds ago. That's what was going on. He was being used. He was a useful idiot. And while you're using that idiot, you don't want to make things bad for that idiot. You don't want to invade while that idiot is president. You want to continue to get all that useful and good information that you're going to use later. So there's that. The TI is what a TI is, and that's sad. That is real sad, but let's move on. Let's talk about another sad individual, Joe Manchin. Call him Money Manchin because he all about the money, this dude. And then one of my conservative friends says to me, yeah, he's talking about becoming a Republican. I said, good. He needs to become a Republican. Good riddance to bad rubbish. This dude ain't did nothing but pour cold water on all of Biden's progressive agenda. So I know a lot of people on the right love to hear that. Well, then y'all can have him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a turncoat who been doing your bidding anyway. So take this anyway. Let me move on. Of course, he's against electric cars. Oh, wow. Who's surprised at that? Who's surprised that the guy who owns a coal company is against electric cars? Okay. Says he doesn't want to be standing in line for a battery for his car. Okay, what he's alluding to with that right there is saying that this is a new technology, this electric technology. And he said something about he remembered coming up in the 70s and standing in line for gas. So he doesn't want to be standing in line for a battery for his electric car. Dumb stuff. And then he's talking about, basically with that, he's alluding to the fact that China, is so much more, is so further ahead of us with this electric car battery stuff. So a lot of these car batteries we probably be getting from China in the beginning. So he's also alluding to that. But all of that is BS. All of that is because this man makes millions of dollars a year off of coal and you want to keep it like that. So that's what's going on right there. Look, this is a new technology. We don't have the cornerstone on a lot of the manufacturing for this green technology, but that's okay. And we will get a lot of it from China or wherever. So what? That's okay. China did the investment. They did what they were supposed to do, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They went ahead and invested in some of this renewable energy and stuff like that. Okay, so we are going to have to buy some things from them, but it's okay because we can do that for a while, and then when we get on track, America can become like maybe one of the number one producers of these batteries or whatever else goes into some of this green energy. But for right now, it's in its beginning stages. It is what it is. Everything has to start somewhere, right? He's gonna say the government didn't build gas stations when Ford created the car. The industry did. Okay, there's that. Check it out. Come on now. First of all, when the car was first beginning, yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, not everybody had a car, not everybody could afford a car, but then when a lot of people could, of course, that's when the industry stepped up and said, well, we need gas stations everywhere. Everybody's got a car, we need gas stations all over the place so people can continue to put gas into these things called cars, which they now own because we brought them to them. Okay, the same thing will happen with electric cars, right? There's Teslas out now. Tesla, that's a great car. People talk about it all the time. There are Teslas all over the place. But there's Teslas a few places. Now, look, out here where I live, it's a pretty well-to-do neighborhood. Not that I'm well-to-do at all. I would say I live in the slums of this well-to-do neighborhood called Bexley. But I see a lot of Teslas out here. Where I work in Dublin, I see a lot of Teslas out there. So when you go to neighborhoods that are more affluent, you see Teslas. Now, the only place where I've seen these electric charging stations has been where I work in Dublin. Haven't seen any here out east, out here in Bexley. That might be only because Bexley is so close to the hood. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I have no idea at all. But my point being is those electric gas stations will become more commonplace as electric vehicles become more commonplace. So for him to use the rationale that, why is the government trying to step in and create these charging stations when, the market should do that? Blah, blah. Well, come on, man. Just like I know and just like anybody else with a brain in their head should know that the market ain't that far yet. This is a new thing. This is new technology. This is a new energy source that we're trying to tap into so that there is, a world to live in for our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on. So, and Mr. Manchin, he gets that. But once again, the man owns a coal company. He owns a coal company. So can we stop looking towards fossil fuel oligarchs to help us move into renewable energy? Because that ain't gonna happen. The man is making money hand over foot off of fossil fuels. Why in the world would he want to move onto renewable energy? Why would he want to go green when fossil fuels is what's keeping the grain in his pocket? Hello. Anyway, moving on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see what I'm saying? This guy's want to take like everybody else. So whatever, Mr. Manchin, become a Republican right now. Do it now. Don't wait. Do it today. Do it tonight. Do it right now, Mr. Manchin, because the Democratic Party don't need you. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Putin's propaganda. Putin's propaganda. Can you believe that? And I tell people all the time, propaganda gets used, you know why? Because it works. If you keep telling somebody something over and over and over again, you keep showing somebody pictures of something over and over again, they start believing it. Because it's all they see, it's all they hear, it's all people are talking about at work, it's all people are talking about on the streets. It must be what's going on, right? No. So, talking about that, the war, that's what you can call it. That's what you can call it. Russia, you know what I'm saying? Basically declaring war on Ukraine and going in there and taking Ukraine over. Not being covered on Russian TV. Yeah, imagine that. Vladimir Putin, he owns all of that. He owns Russian TV. I talked about that last show. Their broadcasting systems and all of that good stuff. So if you in Russia, you may not even, this war's going on. You know something's going on. But you definitely don't know the ins and outs of this war, right? You know what I'm saying? The war is, and that's what they say too. A war that's not a war is easy to look away from, and that's what's going on here in Russia. They said a war that's not a war is easy to look away from. So that propaganda, man. If I keep showing you something, if I keep telling you something, if I keep saying there's no war, if I just keep saying this is a military exercise, if people at work keep talking about how this is a military exercise and how they talk about Ukraine was the aggressor. What? Really? You bombing Ukraine, yet Ukraine was the aggressor. Okay, I can't tell. But if that's what you keep kicking to the people, where you're at in Russia, if that's what you keep showing on the TV, that's what they see. That's what they consume. That's what they absorb. That's what they know. Right? Sad. So, the GOP is actually holding water for Putin and pushing a lot of this propaganda. Fox News, Tucker Carlson. If you watch some of these conservative outlets, they're talking about all these lame conspiracy theories, and it's sad because it's playing out a lot like the Iraq War. Now they're talking about a bioweapons lab or something that's in Ukraine that we've been funding, but now Vladimir Putin has to go in there and liberate it from some Nazi influence that's in there. This is Boulder Dash. You know what I'm saying? This is wagging the dog at its worst, right? At its worst. Look over here. Or here's what's really going on. This is just lies. This is just lies. You know what I'm saying? This guy wanted to go in. He wanted to expand Russian territory. So he just went in and just took this place. He's just tearing up these people's stuff because he can, right? So for them to put, you know what I'm saying, for them to push this type of propaganda to the Russian people is sad. China is the only real superpower, they said, with any leverage on Russia, but both are communist countries. Keep that in mind, right? So both, you know what I'm saying, have dictators. They believe in dictatorships. But you have to think about this. Okay, you know, China is communist, right? Russia's communist, but China has been a civilization for thousands of years, right? Thousands of years. Think about that. China, been around for thousands of years. Russia, they've been doing their thing for a couple of hundred. But you got to think, you know what I'm saying? These Asian folk, they've been getting it in for thousands of years. So they were saying, you know, the guy's name is XI. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I think is it Xi Jinping or something like that. You know the guy's name. The cat, you know what I'm saying, who runs China. XI, that guy. Maybe seen the pictures in the news with him next to Putin, towers over Putin, big dude. That dude, though, in his civilization, they've been doing it for thousands of years on this planet. So they know a thing or two about a thing or two. And guess what? They got plenty of money over there. Plenty of money, plenty of people, plenty of power. It's a communist government, right? So we'll see what happens. Is he going to back Russia with this thing? Or will he back America with this thing? I don't know. And then they were talking about the audacity of America, saying that they're going to put sanctions on him if he helps Russia. And I'm like, that's kind of his prerogative, isn't it? If he wants to help Russia, he can do that. I mean, that's China. You know, they don't necessarily love America either. And see, that's a problem too. You have China and you have Russia, two places who are not necessarily the best friends of America. So now, and then they said if they got together, that'd be bad for us because them together is a whole lot of money and a whole lot of resources. That would be something to deal with. So we'll see what comes out in this whole thing. You know, like I said, big guy XI, he might go ahead and side up with Joe Biden. That'd be cool. Then he could put pressure. They say he's one of the few people who could put probably enough pressure, you know what I'm saying, on Putin and his oligarch buddies to end this thing, to make them come to the table and be like, yeah, we got to go ahead and stop this. Talking about how Biden did not want to refer to Putin as a war criminal. The man is a war criminal. He is a war criminal. And they're going to say, I don't want to do that because it's hard to negotiate with a guy after you done called him a war criminal. Yeah, I hear that, but guess what? He is a war criminal. You targeting civilian targets and killing women and children. You are a war criminal, sir, and you should be called such. You know, and I hate the fact that you got to hold that back and not say that because you think that maybe it'll hurt your bargaining in the future. Oh, it's hard to bargain with a man or have a man come to the table for peace talks and you done called him a war criminal and he thinks he might end up in front of the tribunal in front of the United Nations. Well, guess what? That's what happens when you kill innocent women and children and bomb hospitals and stuff like that. Anyway, moving on, let me get to my IPAs. Yes, with an S. IPAs of the week. I have a few, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been honing back on my IPAs. This one right here is delicious. Platform. Yes, Platform Odd Future. That blew me away. Odd Future, like the artist. I don't think he has anything to do with this. I didn't get a chance to look that up. I would be tripping if he did. That's dope. Because this is a really good beer right here. Platform Odd Future. It says that it has notes of aromatic, citrusy, and it's mighty. All of that is true about this. Yes, another delicious IPA. So if you got a little bit of money in your pocket, might want to go and get that. That is that Odd Future IPA, and I do remember the citrusy notes of this. It was very citrusy. Had a nice kind of a citrusy aftertaste, and that's really good at an IPA. All right, my other one right here is by Alaskan, and it's a limited release. This is the Stratosphere IPA. Stratosphere. Delicious, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you this right here. This Stratosphere IPA. What is it? It's 6% alcohol, so it does the job. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. How much was this platform? I'm sorry, I didn't even tell y'all that. How much is this platform? Is it on here? They might hide it from you. This is one of the ones where they hide it from you. Let me see. Oh, it says the grains in this platform. The grains in this platform are honey wheat, white wheat. Okay, some other stuff I can't pronounce. Anyway, this is 8.6% alcohol for the platform. That's 8.6, and this one is 6% alcohol. This is real good right here. Real clean tasting IPA. It's brewed in Genoa, Alaska. So I really feel like you can kind of taste the cleanness of that Alaskan water that's probably used to make this IPA. And it's delicious. Limited release. Got some money in your pocket. Definitely check that out. So these are two really good IPAs, Platform and Alaskan, Stratosphere IPA and Odd Future. You know, whenever you got a chance, go grab those. That's some good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics, where politics lives. Please, as soon as you have a chance, like and subscribe, and as always, see you around like a donut.